Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Music Marketing TV. I'm Dan D, and thanks for tuning in to Making Beats. Yep, we are in part 2 now, and if you haven't catched part 1, I was just explaining all the patterns and all the elements. So roll back and watch that video if you haven't seen it. And in this video, we are going to go through the structure of my song. So right now, it's a pretty basic thing, but I'm going to give you guys an idea of what I'm going to do because this track is not done yet. Alright, so structure. And first things first, I like to make sure that I make my structure with the mentality of a voice is going to be on this. It's not just going to be a beat. I'm not a beat banger. I make albums, I make songs, and I release them, right? So this is what we're going to do. Alright, come into the structuring phase with the mentality of a voice coming in. So just be aware that later on you're gonna have a voice on here. Eventually you're gonna have one. It's not just gonna be an instrumental, because if it's just gonna be an instrumental, my structure will be totally different. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. First things first, intro. Always have an intro. It's just a great way to get and start the feel of the song, especially if you're making a whole album, or if you're doing a single or whatever. But then again, there's no such thing as rules, right? But if I were you, and I would like to suggest to you, is an intro. So start with an intro, have an outro. Those are the main things that I like to have in my instrumental. So we starting off with snaps, a little bit of the chords. I'm gonna zoom in here so we don't get distracted. So yeah, here we go. Chords, snaps. We got my and that's going throughout the whole song. You can see right here throughout the whole song. And yeah, I like to do 8-bar intros depending on the concept of the song. This is pretty much your typical song. It can be a single, but it's not necessarily the single. It's just one of those really nice written songs kind of deal, right? So 8 bars is good enough. Got my electric guitar to set the feel, right? Bring it in with more guitar. Yeah. Got some sound effects in here just to let the listeners know that it's a new section. Probably the voice is dropping in right here. So if the voice is dropping in, I'm gonna put the kick drums to really fill out and make everything full. Make the frequencies sound full. Got my chords in there, and you can see that I've cut up my my guitar here, and in FL you can definitely do that. So you can definitely just copy and paste the same thing over and over again and place new parts. But the idea with this is that we're using the guitar as sort of like a sample, but it's not really a sample. And all it does is it just hits that first count. And yeah, very empty in here. Loading in with a snap. And my vocal should be on its way with getting out its point or its story or whatever the song's trying to do. So that first section of the verse is empty so that the listeners can really hear what the artist is saying. It's really important. The vocal is number 1, man. It's not about the beat, even though that's controversial, but whatever, right? So there we go. Just loop those 2 things, and you can see that I have a drop in here. Check it out. Switch. Introducing the bass line. Took out most of the drums. Okay, cool. So you can technically say that my verse is 12 bars. You can see it right here. 12 bars long. And I have a pre-chorus that's 4 bars long. So it gives you a total of 16 for a verse. Now that's not something everybody does, but I like to have pre-choruses in there. I don't know, it's just something I've been doing for a long time, and it seems to work and people enjoy it. So if if you like to have pre-choruses, or maybe if you're feeling lazy to write lyrics, you can write a verse for 12 bars and then loop that 4-bar thing in the next verse if you want to, but you know, it's up to you. And yeah, so the idea with this is to really have the artist kind of sing out, or at least say something really special or really important in this section, but at the same time introducing new parts, new sounds, right? And then going in with this really simple transition. Now I have a heavy snare. You can definitely tell it's going to a chorus now, and that rolls for 8 bars. And you know, some writers would make this part, you know, the pre-chorus, a chorus, and then this section here probably a hook. And that's, you know, it depends on the writer's intentions, right? So anyway, you can see everything's up in here: bass line, drums, full out, and guitars, samples, everything's in here. Now if you missed out on episode 1, or part 1 rather, I showed you guys that I have 2 patterns of hi-hats, and this is how I achieve really complicated or really dynamic hi-hats or percussion. What I do with one pattern is I create this simple thing. I'll put the drums in there so you can kind of hear it. Nice floaty feel, kind of like a Bernard Purdy but a little faster. But anyway, yeah, so you pick certain spots where you want to really exaggerate or emphasize, and then you just put in like 16th notes, and then when you have them going at the same time, you get this wicked like floaty feel. Oh, just listen to those hi-hats, all the accents. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you guys in part 1, and yeah, that's a really quick tip. So have one pattern that's really simple, and then really fill it up later on in a different pattern, and you'll get this cool floaty feel. I mean, you can do this all in one shot, but at least now I have the ability to go simple like that, or keep it complicated. But it sounds sick, right? You know it does. Come on. So anyway, that's 8 bars. I don't want to go too long on this. And at the end here, we have a hook. Just the kick drum. You got the real LPC going. Really R&B feely. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, cool. So you can see I have a simple transition here. I don't want to get too complicated. The artist doesn't really like complicated stuff. She's really simple and down to earth. And yeah, so now after you have, you know, your intro, your verse, maybe a pre-chorus, chorus, and then a hook, you can just loop that. So what you do is you just copy and paste, whoop, toss it over here like I've done, and then start adding things that are different from the first verse. So check it out. Now we start with a simple hi-hat, and we got some snares in here. Hey, yeah, right? So that's cool, right? And then you can slowly make it progressive and just toss in maybe the faster hi-hats at the same time, right? And that's the whole idea. You want to keep everything consistent. You don't want to change things up. So might as well just copy what you have that's correct, or what you feel is correct, and then double it up, right? So nothing has changed here, and nothing has changed for the outro. And again, we're not totally done. The outro at the moment is the hook, but you know, when the artist is done writing and recording, things will change, and hopefully I can show you guys that in the near future. Anyways, guys, that's it for structure. Hope you guys learned a little bit about it. I'm Dandy from Music Marketing TV. I'll catch you guys in part 3. We're gonna head on to mixing. Peace.